Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Stephen Gakuya. I am the creator of SmartVal, and I'm a mechanical engineering student here at UMass Lowell. So, the problem that we face today is everybody loves the freedom of having their own car and being able to travel to cities like Boston and other really dense populated cities. And because of that, there's a huge amount of congestion and parking just becomes very scarce and it's almost impossible to find. And by the time you finish finding a parking spot, you're either late to one of your business meetings or whatever duty that you had to do, and it just sends a really frustrating vibration to you and to whoever you were supposed to meet. And because of that, a lot of people who live in Boston choose to take public transportation and commute that way. And they still have licenses, but they just don't have any cars of their own to commute around. So now you just have these people who have licenses, and you have all these people who are frustrated because they can't just simply get to their destination, get out of their car, and be done with it. Well, SmartVal would be a company that would help get a little bit in between that problem and solve it for you. Because currently, right now, with the economic growth of the city, there's 80,000 new residents and commuters. But there's still 130,000 new people, people who have either lots of free time or are currently unemployed. Because of that, that creates a very good job market for those people who are looking for a low task and very flexible work schedule to work around with. And it also helps around with the people who need their car taken away. There's similar companies like Flight Car and Drop Car, which offer some services where you leave your car off in a place and they would take your car and they would essentially be like a valet service or a personal chauffeur. SmartVal has all of that and then some. SmartVal is more innovative and more simple because the layout would be more simple and it would be more personalized to the user, where you'd have more customization if you could select more things that are fitting to your person. Some things where you could select, if you're a smoker, you could select someone who's a smoker or a non-smoker, because people are usually very preferential about who goes in their car. You wouldn't want someone who comes in smelling like cigarettes or is carrying in mud or has some form of record on them. And because of that, it also allows us to make it even more personalized, where if you're a male, you would only have the choice to have a male driver or select a non-preferential. That way people who are just either don't care about it would feel more comfortable if they just had someone of their own gender. So the future, for the next steps, we would just need funding for the insurance and the development of the application as well as the advertising. Because of that, the insurance comes up to $1,000 to $3,000, which is a general idea of the insurance policies from places such as Geico and other companies that offer valet and taxi insurance coverages. This would cover everything from the damages to the owner's car, the damages to any cars that have been involved within the incidents, and as well as the owners, the workers, and the company. And so this is the first initial step, and then after that, there are steps to further develop it to be similar to Zipcar, where you would have partnerships with garages, gas stations, and all that. That way, you would be able to have a lower cost versus a higher cost with those other products out there. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Can you walk me through the process of I need this service?
Sure.
So how would I go about obtaining someone parking my car and me going to a meeting in Boston?
Sure. So because the people who would be parking your car, unlike Uber where they drive their own vehicle and they would come to you, it would be where there would be a select range for the workers to work in. And so because they'd have no real traffic laws to follow, where if there was an ambulance, they wouldn't have to pull aside to the street or stop at a red light or anything like that. They'll be able to receive the car within that approximate area that you go to a lot quicker than Uber would. And so all you would have to do is set a date, a time, and a location with about 30 minutes to advance. That way, like, the person would have the time to commute over to your location, pick up your car, and then have you walk off and commit your duties.
So do I go in an app and book that?
Yes.
Okay.
So now they take your car, what do they do with it? So as in you mentioned parking and such, and parking's the difficulty, so I'm imagining presumptively they're gonna be driving around until you meet your car back.
Yes, I understand that, because you're also probably wondering about, oh, it's my car, so it's my gas and my miles that are getting added on. So what they would do is they would go and they would take away the aspect of you having to spend all your time searching around for parking. Whether it be going to a parking garage, finding the most nearest one that is the cheapest, or just simply finding street parking because they have the time and availability to do that. Because of the rates of parking garages that can go anywhere from $10 to $30 a day to $350 to $600 a month, this would be a much cheaper option due to the fact that it would be on a flexible schedule and you wouldn't have to succumb to paying those high prices, because it would be between those specific times that you set.
So they park it at a meter, they feed the meter for me, and then when the meter runs out, I'm screwed. Right? I mean, if I'm there for 4 hours, like, do they refeed the meter? Like, is that part of the process? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It would be possible, because most meters are now operated through smartphone, so you'd be able to just increase the time through there. So if you were going, let's say,
I see what you're
overtime,
saying, right. So
yeah, if you were going overtime, they could just
You can't
add
do
to
that in
the-
Boston.
No, you gotta go out to the meter.
No, you've got 2 hours and they watch your car, they'll know your car was there. And if you try to feed the meter,
Mhm.
you'll get a ticket.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they will come by and if
So
you're
you pull
there,
up one,
they'll
if you
let,
pull up one space, then you're good.
no, it's by zone.
Oh.
And if you trust me, because I work in downtown Boston, I've learned this the hard way. So they'll let you feed the meter, but if you're in that zone, which is like on this street between this block and that block, and if you're in that zone for 4 hours, I mean, they only allow you 2. And if you're in that zone for 4 hours, you're getting a ticket.
Okay.
So where would you start this model? Would you start it in Boston?
I would start in Boston
Yeah.
because it's a very high dense area, so then it would be a good place to set up a beta. That way, because in places like this, most people aren't really in a rush. In Lowell, like, it's like, okay, you don't find a parking spot, you can loop around a little bit. It's not super condensed where it could take you about 20 minutes to just go a
Right,
mile.
right. Sure.
Versus like in Boston, it would take you an extreme amount of time to go a mile. And if you miss a parking spot and then you see someone just get out behind you, it's not like you can simply loop around. So it would be a perfect spot because the need would be in very like dense, clustered places such as that.
Stephen, can you go back to your resources and what you want? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you break that down for me on why you're looking for insurance and such? I mean, you've got that, in fact, you've got that before, and it seems like it's elevated importance over application, creation, and advertising. I would think that would come first and probably be a lot more expensive to get you out there. Insurance is more or less like once your business model is like up and seems like it's going to coalesce.
Sorry, the reason for that is simply because that was how, when I was like making the presentation, was how it just kind of came out. It isn't adjusted by the importance of it. I understand that the application definitely needs to be made first. It definitely needs to be broadcasted out there, or else you'll be paying insurance for absolutely nothing.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
like, sorry for the misunderstanding with the,
No big deal.
So are you developing the algorithms and the software piece, or are you gonna be the marketing piece? Like what?
personally, I would be the marketing piece because I don't have the skills and knowledge to develop an application like that. The only thing I could offer to it would be ideas for improvements, ideas to implement into it, and outreach for things.
So do you have, I mean, I'm assuming this university's gotta be tons of people that can do that, but do you have someone in mind, or is it just yours?
I have someone in mind.
Okay,
Yeah, I know someone who works for a company that actually develops apps for other companies, so I could just consult with him.
sure.
Has he quoted you in app development?
No, he hasn't, because I told him that I was going to do this through the school, and so everything is kind of uncertain for now.
So I've got a question for you about, I guess, potential dispute resolution, management of just transactions.
Mhm.
Okay, so I give you my car, you drive away, you go around the block, you find a spot, you come back 4 hours later with my car, that's great, and there's a little dent in it. Now what? Now what do I do?
Well, the car should be fully covered with the insurance policy, because with the insurance policy, it would usually come with a $1 to $2 million per car policy just for the safety of, like, the reinsurance of the
I guess
It's not an insurance thing, it's more like, man, now my car's got a ding.
yeah, no, it's more like that. It's
Yeah.
not really
Like-
an insurance thing,
And now the
because
trust
it's
of
a
the
minor dent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you put a dent in my car, you're gonna
Right.
tell me I did not put a dent in your
Right.
car.
Mhm.
You know, someone went by, maybe threw a rock at it, you know, that's the problem, is once the car is out of your eyes and out of your control, it's hard to monitor
Yeah.
that car.
Yeah.
And it's a
I
he
didn't-
said, she
Yeah,
said.
and that's where I think you're gonna be, the biggest problem is that that's gonna be a tough
It's a trust, you
situation.
got a trust issue,
Right,
Mhm.
over the noise issues of, you know, oh, this guy got a parking ticket, well, let's just take that,
right,
throw it away. Then I'm reading, you know, I get the thing in the mail later on, I got a parking ticket, I can't believe this.
and you have late fees and other things associated with, because it's, so like, it's more, I don't know that it's a financial thing necessarily, but it's a nuisance along with the financial thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because the nuisance aspect is a big deal. Like, I know me, when I go into Boston, I'm always late. I'm always that guy running around like, man, I wish I planned better.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to find the space. And I get frustrated and I get agitated and all that. And I'd be a good person for someone to have, do that for.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I would trust it. I don't know, I hadn't really thought
Yeah,
about
no,
it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I drive a relatively nice car. I mean, I think that it would be slightly risky to give someone, just, hey, go ahead, you know? Like,
Especially where you're
Yeah,
targeting
just drive around the
unemployed.
employee, well, I go to my,
And the drivers that you're talking about, you know, you specifically called out the underemployed and the unemployed, and we're gonna hand our keys over to, you know, a population that
Yeah.
hasn't been vetted. You know, how do you qualify drivers? Do they go through a full screening before we
Yes.
give them the keys?
So yes, there would be a full screening, just as in any other job, and then after that, there would also be more personalized settings where you said that you have a very nice car. So you probably don't want anyone that has less than 4 years of driving experience.
I would
Maybe
want the
even- maybe-
oldest
maybe
person
like-
possible driving my car.
Okay, so yes,
But
you
under
would be
the
able,
age
you
of
would be able.
92.
Right. 68 to 75, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So with that,
Yeah,
you'd be
but
able
you
to
could do that, okay,
personalize.
so you-
Yeah,
alright,
there was
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
There would be a lot of personalization.
Yeah.
That way, it would be like more safe and more secure for you.
Right.
And then it would be able to like interface with you and the person who will be parking your car. That way, it builds more trust in you. Like, if you want to be that dotting owner, it's like, hey, is my car okay?
Well, I mean, like my car, I can control it from my smartphone too,
Mm.
which I don't like, by the way, I hate that it does that, but, you know, so you could, you know, so, but it's all going there, right? Where you'll be able to see your car
Yeah.
pretty much wherever you are, so.
But that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
discriminatory?
What is?
If you start to specify who you want driving your vehicle? I mean,
Yes,
Would
I,
people start to
I,
you're
get
exercising a preference.
I understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like
Under
saying.
preference, not a-
but like,
Well,
if
that's
I say I
discrimination.
only want women driving my car, or if he says
If
he
you- if
doesn't
you-
want a woman driving his car, like, is that discriminatory? Like,
No,
do you
because the
get
way
into
it's set up is like you as a woman.
No, it's like a dating service, though. You pick an age group that you feel comfortable with, right? I would
That's what I
imagine,
would
right?
think, yeah.
Because it's more preference and personal,
That's what
you're
I,
not
It's whom
discriminating.
you
Yeah.
feel more secure with, and like the thing that came up with the a woman must pick a woman and a man must pick a man, or have the other option of no preference,
Mhm.
is because there's a lot of issues where people are feeling very attacked either in a sexual way or just in a way that just isn't welcoming. So if a man feels comfortable with a man, or they can do no preference, a woman can go with a woman or no preference. That way it's just more comfortable for them, because you wouldn't want let's say, older gentleman who wants only young girls to drive his car.
Yeah.
Like,
Right, right.
I have a hard time imagining that being so germane. The thing that would concern me more is like if I'm dropping off a nice car to somebody who's got a license but nothing better to do with their time than parking cars, I'm gonna expect it to come back with like cigarettes or in the ashtray or dents in the car and things like that, and it goes to the nuisance issues, exactly as Josh mentioned.
But these are things that, you know, as you start to create this app and get users, you'll start to figure out where you wanna go with it, you know what I mean? Like, is this a bad model to have it this way? Maybe I should do it with people, maybe people are part-time and have free time to, you know, whatever it is that you find as your audience that can do this for you.
One of the things that you might think about actually, and you inspired this thought, but maybe among other things, you know, you cut some deals with parking garages around town.
that's actually an idea, yeah.
Right, and so then these people have a place to go to, they can take your car straight to a location.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Zipcar rents
Okay.
spots
Yeah.
within
Oh, all
parking
right, so you
garages and
mentioned,
stuff
all
like
right,
that.
so
yeah.
some of that got by me, I was distracted.
I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, so like I only mentioned like some of the initial things because at the end of the day, if this does launch off, goes well, there are things like renting spaces to provide like secure, because your other concern was, okay, if you go past the 2 hours, you can't do it within the same zone. But then if you had a space that was yours, secure, you can be there however long you want for however much the subscription is, as long as it's like at a reasonable price within the market area. So those are just like some future steps.
Yeah, but there are a lot of lazy people out there, man, I'm telling you, it could work, I mean, there
No,
are.
yeah, and actually maybe you address some of the concern about, you know, the people, if you're like hiring one person to cover like 3 different garages or something. You've got more or less an employment relationship, and it's, I as a customer would have a lot more faith in
I mean, the guys at the garage,
credibility
the guys
and
who work at the
trustworthiness of that
garage,
person.
if they're just standing around and they all of a sudden get a beep on their phone, oh, okay, I'll swing over, grab that car,
Yeah,
I'm right back.
you know, that's not a bad way to go either.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, no, but just as it was initially presented, I think, you know, certainly, I would have some trust issues.
Okay.
So we've run out of time for questions. Thank
Okay.
you, Stephen.
Thank
you
very much,
Stephen.
Thanks,
Have a
Steve.
good one. It was nice talking to you all.